There was a milestone, I think, in the ongoing debate about the Armenian genocide claim that unfolded just a few weeks ago in the Swedish parliament. Now, it's especially noteworthy because the Swedes are not hounded by either an Armenian or a Turkish lobby. It might be called a neutral political zone because it doesn't have constituencies that would clamor for one side or the other of the Armenian genocide claim. The Swedish parliament overwhelmingly, almost by 85 to 90%, rejected the effort to formally recognize the claim of the Armenians that the events of 1915 to 23 constituted a genocide. Members in that parliament noted the United Nations has never endorsed that claim, even though there have been very strenuous efforts to obtain human rights reports that would style those events as a genocide of Armenians. The Swedish parliamentarians also noted that there continue to be reputable historians, scholars, professors who dispute the genocide characterization. Some come to mind: Bernard Lewis at Princeton, Stanford Shaw at UCLA, Gunther Louis, University of Massachusetts, Justin McCarthy out at the University of Louisville. And these are experts in Ottoman and Middle East history. These are not just historians in general. And it is these kinds of factual challenges to the genocide claim that is important to recognize in assailing what has been the case in recent decades, the inclination of political bodies driven by Armenian American and Armenian other Armenian groups lobbying in foreign parliaments to act as basically as stenographers for the Armenians in writing down their genocide characterization. The facts and the history and the scholarship is quite varied, and indeed what I think underscores the necessity for continuing evaluation and investigation was a recent discovery in Russian archives that indicated that, according to the Russians, and remember the Russians were fighting against the Ottomans in the First World War, not with them, that Armenian claims of killings and massacres were vastly exaggerated. They were invented, if you will. And it shows the reason why we need to have some skepticism about the claims in the West about the events of 1915 to 1923. This all the more underscores the wisdom of the Turkish government's proposal that there be an international commission, including Armenians, Turks, and others of experts, to continue to examine the question and also to insist that the files, the archives of all countries, Armenia's as well as others, be open so that the record can be as complete and as thorough as possible. After all, we're talking about genocide here, and genocide is too important an accusation to levy to justify any shortchanging of facts and investigation. And it's been most unfortunate that the Armenians, both the government and non-state actors in that community, have not opened their archives to full examination, which leads one to suspect that they would reveal things that would undercut the claim that Armenians were helpless, unarmed civilians that were killed during those events. We know that there is substantial scholarship and information coming out of the mouths of the Armenians themselves that they were well armed, that they were in fact viewed as belligerents in World War I against the Ottoman Empire, and fielded soldiers numbering perhaps as much as 150,000. I make these observations not to try to be conclusive as to the events and the characterization of World War I, to suggest, however, that the inconclusive nature of the facts and the issues require more study and deliberation, not edicts out of parliamentary bodies by men and women who know little or nothing about the issue.